Welcome back to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. Hope y'all are having a very good day today. I am going to be rating. Got a couple of things I need to take care of. So, I have so much to do. Like, so much. And I'm still grinding my um, irregular tombstones. So, I'm going to be doing that as well as trying to unlock like some things. Actually, let me actually withdraw that for a second because I do need to do the next Delta Scape as well. So I've just been really busy. Um, have a lot on my plate, but I've been pretty happy with how everything's been going. So no complaints there. All right. Do we have? I don't know if I want to. I'm debated. Hmm. Interesting. I guess I could go to Mordana and no, and pick up some of those. I mean, I have a 19 allowance. I have been trying to work on leveling my crafting, my harvesting as well. 4 weeks left to go, and I still have so much to do. There's so much in this game, and I'm not chasing my best in slot because at this point it's redundant. It's not worth trying to play catch up, so I'm not worried about doing my Eureka. If I get Omega in prior, yo, Chrissy, what's up? How you doing? Hope I did they fix your boiler? Did your boiler get fixed today? I hope it did, Chrissy. I hope they fixed your boiler today. Like I said, I'm not worried about any form of gear progression, and the reason being, it's pointless. It's almost redundant at this point to worry about any gear progression because the gear progression system is like everything's basically almost resetting. The gear will last you a few levels, but as we're getting towards a new level cap, we're going to get what new gear, and that associated gear is going to go towards leveling. I always like when expansions come in. Like I like when MMOs adapt and they get newer players caught up to speed. And gear progression's one of them. Why? Because they want to get them to that little part, especially in this game where you're playing the MSQ. So you're acquiring gear as you progress, and then you're unlocking your dungeons, you're unlocking your trials, you're unlocking your raids, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, cool deal. So what do I do now? Well, now it's all about, gear progression when the content opens up. So that's what it's about. And then, of course, associating your main because you have weekly lockouts. And I don't know how I'm going to take it. Like, my one friend was like, well, maybe you should do Eureka just for, because is a lot of people going to go back? And I'm like, I just don't feel really wanting to farm anything. Like, I'll do the content, but I don't want to farm anything at this point. I'm still relatively a new player, and I want to get as many jobs opened up as possible so I can do these different configurations, get these posted, get these out to players. Some players may like it. For me as a content creator, leaving Elder Scrolls was, it was a big risk, and I won't know if this risk will pay off for me until Shadowbringers drops. And it's something I don't know. I mean, I'm happy regardless that I left. So regardless of what game I chose to play and to move forward with, I'm happy I did leave Elder Scrolls. So I'm still happy I made that call for me. To me, that was a worthy, longbow and a crab bow. Hmm. Interesting. Ooh, it's going to be a lot of components. We can definitely do the U, but the U branches, I might have to go harvest those. Okay. So once again, I'm going to take one specific, and now what's important for me here is making sure I have the components. So clove, raptor, sinew. So I'll send when my harvesters get back. I'll send them out to get the raptor, and then I can go harvest the rosewood and the yew if need be. And that's something I'm also doing, always collecting materials for these leaves. So typically I do two at a time, right? I'll pick up two, but I'm still trying to get, my woodworking done. I want to get that up to the 50 mark. Then I'll do the quest line, finish out that quest line for that, the associated crafted quest line. I always wait till I'm almost at a certain point, and then I just do them collectively, one after the other, versus, having to go keep farming material and you have a low end score because of your gear. So you're going to fail at those quality item crafts. So for me, I'm like, you know what? I'll just go ahead, do my crafting, do my leaves, and then when I hit a certain point, I have a higher chance of success because of my gear progression. That's why I always go 5 back typically. All right. So let's make sure we have how much rosewood we have in yew branches. Mahogany, rosewood. We have 66. Yew branches I'm going to need though. For sure, for sure. We're going to need to mass those out. Alright. What was the other item? Raptor and clove. Oh, the Moogles are dancing. I think I have enough raptor. Yeah, 82. That looks good. I'm comfortable with that. And clove, I think I got about 40 something. I might have to go make some more. That's on my this retainer. Oh, I need to make clove oil. Okay. So a couple of notes of what materials I'm going to be needing. So first thing I'm going to do is look at obtaining my yew branches. So there's rosewood. It's all vegetables, isn't it? It has to be in here. Oak. I know I might have to look that up. There it is, yew branch. East Shroud. 9. All right. So I'm always collecting once again. So we're going to be definitely doing a raid. I need both raids. So I will progress some gear for the coin. Scott, what's up? Hope all is well. Everything is going good. They've got you going crazy, brother. I hope you get breaks lately. How's actually you're on vacation, aren't you? Is it now? I hope yeah, if you're having a vacation, I hope it's a good one. I hope you're getting a lot of R&R. So if you're on vacation, congratulations, you deserve it. Okay, I need to come over here and I need to switch. So I hope if you're on vacation, man, I hope you're enjoying your vacation, brother. I've been a little busy. I had some things to do, and then I have some things that still popped up tomorrow that I have to attend to. So that's going to keep me a little busy, a little bit. Those are plants. I don't want the plants. I need the trees. I think it's down this way. So I think I need to go around and up. And it is dark out. I could be wrong. Oi. Oy vey. Yeah, I've been just trying to get prepped up, man. I'm trying to get as much in. I mean, I know I'm doing pretty decent. You know, a couple of things, though. I mean, the kids have been getting out of school, but I've been kind of sidetracked. And then I have, I think, a meeting in a few weeks. I got to attend and do some stuff, but it's whatever. Oh, there it is. I think that's it. I think that's my key. Yes, it is. I'm trying to get as much out as possible. I'm trying to hammer this content, man. Now, another thing I want to do is I want to make sure I get about a stack of 100 when I'm going to do this. It's kind of important to me. I know that 5 hit's probably going to be the closest. Actually, it should be, I want to say this one or the next one. It should be the next one. One more? Oh, this was the 5 hitter. Okay. So we're going to mark this one right here. So I usually put a nice little flag. If I can. There it is. My flag. So I always keep a little flag by the area of which the 5, when I find that 5 stroke, so I can get the larger pole. All right. Time to switch back to the red. I really do like my red mage. Lighthouse. I'm still trying to figure out, trying to get the timing for, what is it, the third boss? The second or third boss. It's where I'm having my problem here, because what I usually do, like I'll hop on it, like as it's saying it, and I'm like, oh shit, did I fuck up because I just got a check mark? So I'm trying to get my timing down on that boss. Other than that, I feel okay. I feel comfortable doing most of this. I also figure out the grounding one last time. So I've only been in here, I think this is my third or fourth time in this raid. And I like to try to figure out things. If I can pug it, I like to try to figure out mechanics on my own, even if it causes my death. Because there's people in there that know how to do it. But if I don't, then I might ask or I might look it up. But some of the challenge for me as a player, trying to figure out mechanics. All right. I will eat a food just so I can get that little extra spell speed and stuff. So I'm going with direct hit spell speed. Food. Some people want to do with other foods. It all depends on the build, I guess. There is a slight element, a slight effect to how you build. Not very much, but like if you're running crit food, if you're going to run direct hit, you know, all of these things, how you've used your materia, what slots. It's not, you know, overly complex, but oh, we do have a Dragoon in the group too. I'm ready. This is the water dude. Okay, I need to pull this back. I want to get this away. Might as well heal myself. Oh, no, 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 no. See what happened? Didn't move with the group, and then I'm going to suffer for it. Time to move. Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth. Here comes the shit. Oh, shit, man. Is this thing following me? Ah, shit. Messed that up. No, sheep. I'm dead. Should have moved. That's my fault. I was doing my little thing, trying to get it off. I got greedy. Thank you. Tell me I'm not net AoE. Thank you. I love it when a healer picks a good spot to res. Gonna heal up real quick. Of course, I take the res. This is... Honestly, we were just talking about this today. There was a discussion on this, and this was one of the complaints we had. People rezzing and not following up with a heal. Why? Because they're DPSing. God, son of a bitch. It's like, why are DPS dying after a res? Because nobody's following up with a fucking heal? Why? Because they're DPSing. They're the lowest DPS on the marker, man. Oh, shit! Died twice. One after a res. Go figure. I don't need any of this gear. I more than positive. Well, wait a minute. No, I have. Don't need it. I was about to say, if it says ninja on it, or dragoon. I use probably the dragoon gear. But yeah, that was wrong placement for me. The healer picked a nice spot to res me. Really cool. But then all of a sudden I res and I died to a mechanic. Why? No follow-up heal. And it's not the healer's fault that I died initially. That's not anybody's fault initially. I died to a mechanic. Healer can't help that. Healer can't do nothing to me dying to a mechanic. I got greedy. I croaked. You know what I'm saying? Instead of moving with the group, which I should have done, I died. But then, of course, when you res somebody, the next thing you want to do is get those follow-up heals, man. And that's the bad habits I keep referring to. Like, there are a lot of bad habits in this game because of, you know, people's, what they've been taught. I hate this part. What I find to be nice is just coming over here and try to avoid this barrage. Oh. I do like this mechanic. So it's this next boss, I think, that I have the problem of trying to preset. He gives out numbers, and my thing is I always want to jump. No, it's the next boss. It's the third one. I jump the gun a lot because I get nervous because there's a timer associated. Monk's going to be so badass. Monk is going to be so goddamn badass coming up. I always wait for the turn. Slow clock. Okay. Oh shit. Graphically, this game is amazing as hell. I'm stuck. Hopefully this is right. It's not. Could be costing me my death right there. No. Okay, we're good. Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
Um, I'll just greet it. I don't really need it. Not gonna need if somebody else does. I find that pointless. Dum, 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 dum. I really do like pugging things in life because I'm not talking. There's no organization here. Organization is just trial and error, which I enjoy. Dum, 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 dum. This is the part where I'm going to die. I will. Just keep it together, Mystic. Yeah, vacation's going good. Trying to get so much done since it's do shit besides work, right? You're probably like, what do I do with myself? I'm not being worked to death at this moment. All right. Yes. Oh yeah, baby. sprint for the win. Multiples of 4. Shit. Right here. Right? Did I do it right? Tell me I did it right. X. No. When in doubt, go to 1. Hopefully. This is where I'm always getting, like, cluster fucked. Because I'm not paying it. I'm dead. It was nice knowing all of you. Yep. My dumb ass. It's okay. Okay, got it right on the turn. This could be bad, because it could die just, like, on this next one. That's the problem, like... I can't see who's tied to me. Right. Just trying to get to ya. Good shit. So I don't have a problem with any of that. Somehow the gate closed on me. Don't even know. I thought I was out in time. Obviously not. So twice on this boss. Oh shit! We're gonna croak. Give me this! Oh my god. I can't afford to stack. I'm gonna die. Okay. Specific numbers. Vitals to primes. Okay. That's where I need to pay attention. Prime numbers. 2. See what happens when I pay attention? So good, Gary. Good job. I saw the emote this time. Oh shit. Now see, that's what I lost. I wasn't... Oh my god. See, that's where I get screwed up. I'm like, okay, I went to that one. Was there another emote? I wasn't paying attention. Okay, it's the run job. Oh, shit balls. Okay, so I only died one time to the math mechanic this time. Because I'm not paying attention to that second part. First one, it's always going to say a prime or something. It'll give you a number, and you got to say, okay, you know, well, that's divisible by blah. Of course, I'm not paying attention half the time because I'm trying to worry about mechanics. Of course, I missed the most important mechanic, which is the math mechanic, which I feel like an idiot when every time I'm not paying attention to that emote. And this one sucks for me because I'm colorblind, but I try to manage. I try to see like the little minus between the red, which is not easy, but I do it. I gotta build up a lot of white. Empire is a cancer, and I am the barber's blade. I'll tell you, oh my god. Sure, I'll heal myself, healers. I mean, don't do your job. Your suffering is not yet over. Okay, so see all these little plus marks? I've got to find all of these as much as possible and stay grounded. Of course, I'm going to get... Oh my god! Worst turn ever. Baka, if you're on PC, there should be a setting that compensates for color blindness. Oh, dude. Are you serious? Yes, I'm on PC. Oh, my God. Is there? Oh, dude, that is so bomb. You're my lifesaver right now. Yeah, I'm colorblind. So, I mean, I could see colors, but not like red and green. And like the blue I can see, but like the lining. But if it's red or something, really hard for me, man. Dude, you are amazing. Oh my God. Why am I healing myself? Okay, red. I need to go to the blue, and I need to get the negatives. See all these negatives? Ow. Well, that sort of sucks. I was paying attention to the blue markers on the ground, and I got stomped. I don't even know what, like, I haven't looked up this fight, so I'm still kind of like I said, I mean, I don't know if, like, I'm supposed to be in a corner when these happen, because they're random charges, and I'm like, okay, I'm on red, I got to go over here, and then I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, I just croaked anyways. What? Look at this. I get a res, and nobody's doing what? They're not healing. This is a problem fundamentally speaking. I'm telling you guys, it's the problem fundamentally. Oh my God. Okay. And I can't, why? I can't even see the dude to res him. Don't worry, I'll heal myself. God dang it. Look! Reses are going, but no one's... Like, one of them needs to be healing. Oh my God. Give me that friggin'... Oh, never mind. I'm spending half my fight healing while the DPS... Or the healers are DPSing. Is there something wrong with this whole thing?
Your suffering is not yet over.
Okay, so I'm good right here, but I need to get a spot. And see, he's going to be trampling around, and I'm going to die. I'm trying to avoid him, and it's like, I'm still dead. Because I got to get these little circle spinny things, and still stay out of his path. There is a challenge here. Don't worry, healers. I'm dead. I'm getting flung. Maybe not. Yeah, because I died during the phase anyways. Sweet. Give me the shield. Oh, no. Not these things.
Your suffering is not yet over.
blue. Give me it. Heal. I did it! I lived through it! Or maybe I spoke too soon. No! No! Yes! Res! Go Red Mage Res! See, I'm a team player. Probably not. At least I'm on the right side this time. Just avoid the winds. No! No! I took one for the team. Both red mages are down. Red mage is down. Red mage is down. I hate the healers in this game. I goddamn hate the healers in this game. I can't wait for Shadowbringers. I literally hate the healers in this game. I have never seen such trash healers in my life. And that's being nice. I mean, to die to a mechanic's one thing, but to die to the lack of healing? That makes no fucking sense. That's an oxymoron. What happened? I didn't get healed. Okay. I mean, I'm going to die to getting trampled. I have no problem with that. You know, am I getting trampled? Absolutely. No, it's on me, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, no, I can't. No, I'm in the cone. I'm in the cone. I'm going to get stoned. I'm going to get stoned. No, I did. I escaped it. Fuck you! You know, you would think there would be a time where the healers would be like, throw the instant heals now. But no. Thank God I'm a red mage. I'll just for heal myself. Don't worry, healer. I'll res you. I adjust. Oh my God. God. Thank you, dude. I definitely got to look for that, though. That is probably my next goal. Like, oh my God. I don't know if I have these. I think I do, but I'm not sure. I'll pass on that one. I'll need on the pet. I might need an orchestra. I don't know. Oh boy. I can't wait for Shadowbringers. I am looking so forward to it. I'm looking so god dang forward to Shadowbringers and being like, you have to heal now or people are gonna die worse than before. What did you do? I died. What'd you do again? I died again. Now there are a lot of parts in there that was my fault, like me getting trampled. No healer's gonna save me on that. No healer is gonna save me getting trampled by a dragon. It's just not gonna happen. I'm a dead man. I'm dead. I'm dead to rights. I'm toast. But here's the thing that floors me. When you res somebody, these are the things I'm going to say is fundamentally flawed. When you res somebody, the thing that should be happening with after you res somebody is throwing heals on them or throwing AoE heals or shields or something. But instead, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I got you up. Fend for yourself. Die. It's like, oh shit. And I'm sitting there like, why? And then you'll catch them. They'll. I mean, it's one thing if you're avoiding mechanics and you can't do it, and I get that. But you'll catch them DPSing after their reses. And I'm like, why? What the fuck are you doing? You just res somebody. You what? There's no like, hey, by the way, got you up. Here's a bandage. It's like, oh, here, get the fuck up. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't literally know. I'm like confused about that mentality in this game. I played for 22 years. I have played more MMOs than I care to admit. And I have never seen a community where it's just like, whatever you do, don't heal unless you have to. I'm like, what? I'm losing DPS. Now here's the funny thing. I'm a red mage. I out DPS every one of the healers. But I have to heal myself. So they can DPS. It makes every goddamn sense to me. Every sense. It makes complete sense that the healers DPS and you heal yourself. That makes complete fucking... No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. It's a fucking... No. No. It does not make any sense to me. I am sitting here floored every time when I see healers do the smallest things. And if we were in World of Warcraft, they would get kicked. If we were in Rift, they would get kicked. Hell, Elder Scrolls, you'd get kicked. And that's saying a lot because they all run self-heals. Like in Trials, all of them. But if a healer, it doesn't cap off after a res, you'd get kicked. This is the only goddamn game I know. It's the only one. It's like, oh God. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Wow. Somebody missed those memos. And it's a bad habit, honestly. I'm very thrilled that Square Enix is removing... I hated the idea of removing Protect, but I get it. I understand why now. I didn't like the idea that, tanks were getting this or that. I get it now. Because I'm new to the game, and I could see every reason why certain things are being adjusted the way they are. One, to offer a challenge. Because imagine this. If the healers aren't healing, then really they're not being challenged as healers. Right? It's just is left to be argued. It's just like, well, they're bored as healers. Well, we need to remedy that. How do we do that? I know. We take away their crutches. They're going to be really pissed. It'll be okay. They'll adjust. They'll adjust. So fitting. So fitting. It's like, I'll heal. I will. I'll heal raids. I'll heal a bunch of shit. I won't let shit fucking go like that. Fuck that shit. But jeez, Mateezes. Wow, never seen a community so brainwashed. I'm contributing my DPS. Oh, yeah, that extra 500 DPS per second is really getting the job done. Absolutely. Woohoo! Oh shit, I forgot to hit my thing. No, guys, just like I said, role identity means something to me. It really does. I have been playing MMOs and Holy Trinity MMOs for the longest time. And every time, it's like basically like having a tank with no taunt. You know, I'm a tank. Okay. What's your mitigation? I don't have one. What's your taunt? I don't need one. Okay, well, what the hell's gonna happen? Well, I'm just gonna help DPS. Yeah, nothing terrible is gonna happen in this scenario. Terribly, what could go wrong? And then all of a sudden people die. It takes like get good, and it's like, dude, you queued as a tank. Why aren't you supposed to hold aggro? No, my job's to DPS. It's like, okay, well, we got problems here. You know, the healer's getting all this aggro. Fuck the healer. It'll adjust. And it's like, wow. Okay. I don't get it. I don't. I just don't. Sorry, I was AK. Hopefully, I didn't miss too much. No, I was just talking about. I don't understand. I don't understand this mentality. I'm looking forward to Shadowbringers more and more because at first I was like apprehensive because of everything because I like healing in this game. And I think I'll heal after this one. I like healing in this game, but there's been a lot of bad behaviors that's been associated with roles. And like in that last raid, like not capping somebody after you res them is like an MMO 101. Like you cap them after you res them. And I'm like, why aren't they capping? You know? Why aren't they topping off? That's a normal thing to do. And I didn't understand it. I was like, I'm completely lost here, you know? Completely. And like you'll catch healers DPSing instead of healing their teammates. So I'm like, let me get this straight. We're going to let the DPS die that deals more damage than the healer so the healer can continue DPSing. I'm just asking. I'm like, did I miss something? Oh, I'm screwed. Go, go, go. I'm gonna get hit with that. Yep. Why am I... I'm confused. No, I mean, seriously, I was hit with confused. At least I didn't die that round. Yay, me! I don't hardly die there. I died one time because I forgot to turn around. I got feared and then poof, smashed. Now, the gunfight, the gun boss. I need to remember to look where he's placed and look away at all times. I love these raids. God, I love these raids. I love this environment. I mean, I love it. I'm in love with the graphics. Oh, I'm in love with so many elements of this game. I can't wait for the new one. I can't wait to get my ass stomped. I hate this dude. He's the worst.
You shall promise. The promise won't save you from what comes next.
Okay, he's right there. I have to turn around and look away. First one's easy.
This is the final testament.
I lived, mommy. No, I'm sorry.
Then why am I being guilty?
Get me away from the mines. No, thank you. No, thank you.
We're just warming up. I am a man of my word. I rarely miss.
I'm waiting for that one phase. It scares the shit out of me.
What's this?
We're good. That's the one I was waiting for.
Run, like rats in a casket. Victory is not so close as you think. You're making this too easy. I see my way. Let this be your final testament.
Oh my god! Did I know I did something wrong there. I think I looked back. I shouldn't have done that. Either that or we're supposed to make a slight adjustment. Oh shit! I'm so fucking toast. And there's bombs over here. Thank you. I love those healers. I love these healers. Run, Forrest. Oh no.
You're making this too easy.
Give him hell. Okay, I'm gonna move all of this out. Oh shit. Which way?
This is our final testament.
Got it. No.
You have proven yourself deserving of the
Nice.
brave. With this, my journey can, at long last.
One time I died that time. Once. I wasn't pretty. I still need to work on like placement. So I'm not happy with it. Yeah, I could use that. Oh, yes. Please. And thank you. Not happy with everything. Like, I feel like there was a lot of mistakes I made. Like, a lot. Like, and that's the thing too, is like getting comfortable with certain mechanics, upgrading, like then trying to get to the Slayer and then the extremes, and you know, taking everything in. You know, it take things step by step. Unless you're trying to bum rush, then by all means use the guides.
Youth guides your fate, but have you the faith to fulfill his legacy?
Well, northeast, I guess. Remember to turn around. Yeah, thank you, Baka. Dude, yeah, I messed up that second time, man. I really messed up. It wasn't pretty either. This one is kind of interesting for mechanics. I feel like majority of the time I get this one down pretty good, except I'm not really good at breaking people out yet. So that's what I need to work on in this mechanic.
To the current of life we succumb. Its judgment swift and final. Its bite as cold as steel.
That's the part I need work on. Oh, I'm trapped. I'm one of the trapped people.
7 shadows cast, 7 fates foretold, which at the end of the broken path lies death, and death alone! I call out to the skies and tremble as the brilliance of 1,000 bolts blinds mine enemies and tears their flesh asunder!
Oh my god. Yo. That's what I'm talking about. I should have thrown a heal right there.
They must be embraced.
Prime example. Oh, you want to res me? Thank you.
To do as much.
Might not have had to happen. Oh my god. Like, look. Now I have to heal myself. I'm dead.
Oh, divine light, send us from our sins!
Okay.
Gaze deep into the light! They who dwell aloft have spoken. Let their words echo in your empty soul. Ruination is come!
Don't worry. I'll just heal myself.
On guard!
Okay. Failed. They fucking let the fucking dudes. Wow. It is a pug life. I have never seen myself die in that one. It's the first time I've died in that. Wow, my whole team just got whipped. Whipped, I tell you.
The cleansing light
Better start getting them up. I can res too.
They who dwell aloft have spoken. Let their words echo in your empty soul. Ruination is come!
Oh my god, okay. I guess that's a way to use a limit break. I'm not complaining. Nice recovery. Was a smart move. That was sweet. Are you using the shield to avoid the damage? Yeah, I was. Yeah, use sprint or corpse to corpse if you're uncomfortable with that. Yeah. And I was trying to use that shield, and so is there a timing associated? You know, or do you can you avoid it? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have to do the shield, or can you avoid the shield altogether? I wasn't sure about that. That's the one thing I was kind of questionable about. Like, do you have to activate that shield, or can you just avoid that mechanic without using the shield? See, that's the thing I'm trying to get accustomed to, is which mechanics I can avoid and which ones I absolutely have no choice but to hit that. And the shield is definitely something I think I'm like always grabbing. I don't know if that's wrong or right. Like, should I be using it? I've been using it, but do I need to do it? We got the arm too, which is going to suck balls. I think our healers are good. So I actually like the healers in this round better. There we go. Pretty good. I need to make sure when I res a healer that I get this ability off, my mana shift.
Servant of Ivalice. Or perhaps you serve another. I am Count Sidolphus
Orlando. Whoa! I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Roll the dice. No tats, no tats, no tats.
The hearts of men are black with corruption and must needs be cleansed. I call out to the skies and tremble as the brilliance
Get
of
in, get in.
thousand bolts
Or
blinds mine enemies
isn't it?
and tears their flesh asunder.
Oh no.
Shadows cast.
See, that's one thing I like the B-wing better.
Of the broken path lies death, and death alone.
All right.
Open your eyes to the darkness and drown
It's not me.
its loveless embrace. The gods will not be watching. Misfortune hangs heavy on a head once held high. Such is poor cover for when the heavens fall. Come, show me more. To the current of life we succumb. Its judgment swift and final. Its fight as cold as steel. To live by the sword is to die by the sword.
Get in the circles.
Enough for regret in the flames of hell. Honed is the blade that severs the villain's head. Endless is the path that leads him from hell.
Get me the away from that shit. No, spank you. Yeah, baby. Oh shit, get in over here. I'm dead. I took one for the team, Mom. I just tried to make sure I was placing it right. Ah! Good call. Oh shit, balls. Come on. Get that thing out of here.
I have been called to the god of thunder. Now know why. Upon my holy blade, the very world lies in balance. And now the scale. Come, show me more. Escape is not so easily granted.
Oh shit. Should have been paying attention.
Were you expecting a modicum of rust?
Uh-oh.
You will find my defenses quite impenetrable. A piteous display. They who dwell aloft have spoken. Let their words echo in your empty soul. Ruination is come.
Shit, I thought I had it cleared. Second. Oh shit. The tank.
Even the strongest of shields cannot defend the weakest of wills. A moment's hesitation beckons a lifetime of pain.
Uh-oh, uh-oh. Get that thing away from me.
You will find my defenses quite impenetrable. Hark! The screams of ruin rise above the storm's discord. Shudder not in her endless cold. Escape is not so easily granted. Were you expecting a modicum of rust? You will find my defenses quite impenetrable. A piteous display. Impetuous fools.
We're getting it. Oh, for that mechanic. Okay. By the way, as a red mage, you can get in an extra cast before shielding, so long as you know the time. Second, so long as you have the shield up slightly before casting finishes. Okay, you'll be safe. if you see people marked with the tether, you can ignore the shield mechanic entirely. Got you. Good. By the way, if you stay in melee range, you have your auto attacks for slightly more damage. Okay. So that's with like how much barred up. Do I have to have full bar? Off platform first, now out. Remember to idle the stack marker. Got you. I need to do that. I need to make sure I do that. I should have actually done that. So idle the stacked marker.
You shall rue the day you raised your eyes to the heavens. Kneel before me.
Oh shit. I can't see that person. Why can't I?
Your soul shall not escape my wrath. Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon you. Kneel before me.
Nice stack.
Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon you.
Good.
Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon you. Your very soul shall not escape my wrath. Death awaits defiance.
I'm gonna die if I don't get up here. I'm dead. I'm so croaked. I went the wrong way. That was my fault. Should have cut back and I went side. They'll get me. I'm gonna shift as soon as I can. Well, I don't know if I can. Come on, 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 come on. Don't do the slow res, just. Okay. And I'm gonna shift what I have. So I'm gonna shift what I on that other person because this is a heal check. So I shifted. I should have cut back. I like the healers.
I am the only god.
For that, pre-positioning is super important. Stay at the center and then move accordingly. So center, then move. So I went too far, right? I think that's what I did. Like, I think what I ended up doing, I pulled too much to the side, and then when I tried to cut back, I went too far, and it cost me. So I think you're right. Like, yeah, I can see that. But, and that's the thing, like, I get panicked, man. I see all this stuff, and I'm like, ah!
You are the might of my will.
There's a lot more in this game visually than most MMOs I probably would played. So I will say that, like, there's so much eye candy that's going on. Like, you really do have to pay attention. And there's not a lot of room for error, man.
Your very soul shall not escape my wrath. Kneel before me. Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon.
Did somebody get it?
Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon. Bend to my will.
There we go. Gotta love this part. Oh, snap, it changed up this time.
Kneel before me. Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon. Your very soul shall not escape my wrath. Kneel before me.
Go.
I see it now, in you. ink of blackest night, I summon. Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon.
Nice. Ugh. It's good. I love those healers. I'm giving it up to one of those healers. I love that. Was probably some of the better healing I've seen. You know, so I'm really happy about that. Don't need any of the other stuff. That was real. I really like those healers. I do too. You know, I haven't been in here a lot, but, you know. Am I ready for Slayer? Not yet. That's a damage increase in order to get... you'll notice that players who take the marker get a buff. That's a damage increase in order to get DPS players to complete the mechanic. Nice. Cool. Excellent. I'm so glad you're telling me this, Baka. Thank you. Thank you. Because I've been, you know, trying to adapt, trying to pick up things, you know, at least mechanic-wise, placement-wise. And there's always, like, some of the things that I find intriguing, there's always, like, a dual mechanic at phases in this game that I'm trying to, like, figure out. And so I'm glad you mentioned the shield and the debuff, because I'm like, okay, do I have to do this? Or is there a preset that, you know, gives option? And sometimes in these raids there are those things, and sometimes there's so much going on you're not paying attention. Like placement, like you said, like me cutting back, I should have cut back and I didn't, and I went to the wrong way and I didn't go back, and it cost me, like it got me killed. So like I should have, like, you know, went up. And then you're always on the move in this game. I give it up to the black mages. How a black mage gets their rotation down within each phase, because wow, it's like you have to, it almost feels like you have to be mobile like 50% of your fight, except the boss prior to the last one, which you still do actually, because you got to move between phases. But geez, man, this game, like, there's no one thing I really enjoy is the constant phase development in the raid system so far in this game. I feel like that's where it's challenging. And I've done like Ramuh Extreme. That Extreme in that one was, wow, it was crazy. You know, how, like, you got to keep the buffs, the debuffs. Like, you know, who's got the stacks, when's it dropping off, when you got to coordinate your tank swap, because that's so tank and healer heavy. And I was just like, wow, it's wow. Yeah. There's a lot to this game. There's really, 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 really a lot. And I need to get into that whole colorblind setup too. If they have it. Is it under like system configuration, I wonder? Like, I would love to be able to get... Aha! But is there one just for color? Like, visual alerts? See, it does change the world too. But green is green for me, no matter what. See, that's a lot better. That little bit of purple, I can see that a lot better for me. I don't know how everybody else is seeing it, but yeah. See, that is so much brighter for me. And then I adjusted this because I wanted water reflections low, trying to see if it would improve anything, but the glare, I try to lower the glare, try to lower, like, you know, water refraction, things like that. Try to mess with. Enable color filtering. Try modifying the range. Like this. Okay. Yeah, okay. You can make it darker. That might help you a little bit more too. Oh, you've been awesome. Thank you for this so much. Yeah, because I'm colorblind red and green. So if there's, like, I can see green, but I can't see shades of green. And I can't see shades of red. So if there's these icons underneath of the circles, like I can see the green circle, I can see the red circle. But if there's anything underneath of it that I'm supposed to be paying attention to, I'm screwed. I'm like totally screwed. I'm like, I'm dead. I'm so dead. I actually, yeah, see, now I can see purples, even though it's got a little bit of red in it. I can see different shades depending on how much blue is incorporated. Like, the lighter it is, with more blue tint, the more I can see it, which I'm really liking. And that's another reason I like Shadowbringers. Transparency. Visual alerts. Let's try this. Of course, it changes all the colors of my HUD, which I'm not opposed to anything. I don't know how it looks to you guys, but I can see some of the purples a little bit better in the flowers and stuff. The green always looks green to me, though. But oh no, it totally changed my color of my robe too, though. That sucks. I can't do that. Oh man. Let me try something. Hold on. Maybe it's just the notification, enable visual alerts, maybe. See, I can't. See, I can see the black in that red, but I can't see the shades. So I'm hoping that at least triggers the alerts the notification one does. As long as it does that, I'm cool. But thank you so much. Now, one way to find out. Now, I have been farming. Let me switch. I'm working on my paladin. Now, I've already done that one. Don't know if I want to tank trial. Yeah, might be good. Let me go repair real quick. You have been such a blessing, especially with that shield and that. Oh my gosh. And I have to remember that too. That's another thing I have to try to keep in mind. I'm hoping that I'm going to try this to see if at least I get a different color indication with just that one option. Like, there's games that do, like, you can individually, like ESO, I want to say World of Warcraft has it, where you can have individual highlight, change the color of your indication specifically. There's a lot of games that are doing that. I do appreciate what the companies that do that, especially for players like me who are partially colorblind. I'm partially colorblind. I'm not completely colorblind. I am partially. But yeah, to get back to an earlier topic, the difficulty tends to increase by quite a bit for extreme and savage content. Yeah, extreme, like I've been through extreme, like Ramu, and I stick in my head a couple places. And, like the mechanic wise, it's not so bad, but your margin of error is way harder. So if something gets screwed up, it could cost your whole team, and I've noticed that. And I feel like that's where the like the challenge is, which is good. As long as there's a challenge, like this extreme is crazy looking. He might have it. Let me see. Yeah, I think he's got it. Which I'm cool with. I'm not trying to fight him over the competition. On the extreme on this, it's all about positioning. You want to start at the 1, then the 2, then the 3. Keep everybody stacked, debuff, person pulls away. Yeah, there's a ton of shit in this one. And if somebody fucks up, it's game over, man. You usually go right here at 3. Good. Not noticing that much of a difference. I might have to tweak with it a little bit more. Give it up to one of the Dragoons. I like Dragoons. They're good support. I'll greet it. Oh, cool. Swap to Sword Oath, yeah. For extremes, if you have the opportunity with shield. I'm trying not to get used to like the whole thing since the stances are changing. I was stance dancing with my warrior and my DK, but since we're getting ready to drop the stance dancing, I'm trying to get accustomed to whether or not when primary stance should be dropped. Like, the way I'm looking at it, I feel like I get what they're doing with the tanks. Like, but like we're getting rid of Shriek or Shirk or Shriek or Shirka, Shriek or this one. Shirk. Shirk is gone. So Shirk is gone. So if we got a tank swap, do we stay in tank stance and then do we drop the tank stance for a tank swap? And that's what I'm kind of getting accustomed to. I feel like, just stay in the primary stance, get accustomed to it. Plus, it's reducing your enmity or increasing your enmity and reducing damage. Now, somebody said it does increase enmity, but it's not going to reduce damage anymore. So that's what I've heard. I don't know. Once again, they all said it's subject to change. So, and then of course Sword Oath, which is increasing the auto attack. So, or reducing the delay to increase DPS. Granted, that's usually, I think, the top 10% of players. For extremes, if you have the opportunity with SHB, Shadowbringers, I recommend trying them at patch because that's when you get to see the difference in healing quality. Yeah, that's one thing I'm trying to get used to. Like, how much are we going to have to adapt? Yeah, but honestly, Shirk should never have been added. Yeah, that's true. I can see your point. Yeah. And I mean, there's not a lot of content you have to tank swap. There's only a little bit. But is that what we're going to be doing? I mean, do you feel like that's what we're going to be doing? Are we going to basically like stay in tank stance and then if we have to drop, we're just going to drop it? Is that what's going to happen? Because how else are you going to drop threat? Like how? I don't... Like, what do you do? Just stop attacking it? I mean, it makes more sense to drop it, but somebody said also, like, there's a boost to the stance that the other tanks get? I'm not sure. Yes, that's correct. For now, your damage isn't modified for the enmity stance, right? So, and we're not supposed to, like, get any debuff associated with the stance, from my understanding. Like, the only thing we're getting is the increased aggro. So we're going to keep it on the entire time unless we have to. Top end healers, probably 0. Yeah. I'm a little worried about healers in this game. And I find myself, that's probably what I'll do. High-end content is a matter of healing efficiency. Yeah, I see. Thank you. That's what I've always been. This is what I've been taught. Casual healers tend not to be that efficient. Thank you. See, and I've said this, like, I don't mind healers DPSing. But healers don't have a lot of DPS. So I think, like, the Scholars dot rotations are very kind of important because you can shield and dot, right? You can shield, dot, like throw a preemptive measure, hit your dot out, and then keep your heals up. Like you're cycling. It's like almost a rotation to apply preemptive countermeasures to cushion damage, throw out the dots, then throw up your directs. And then, but I see people, what they do is they're spamming heals, and then they heal after the effect, and they're not shielding or trying to cushion it. That's what we used to do. During ARR Heaven's Ward, you would aggro combo, and then the other person would stop attacking for a bit. Oh, so you feel like we're going to go back to that. So we won't necessarily have to drop a stance. So we should technically be able to keep it on without dropping it. Hopefully. But because people would fail some of the more aggressive tank swaps, it led to Shirk being added to Stormblood. Got you. But there are those moments that you do have to do the tank swaps. I mean, I don't know if they're going to... Not every content has tank swapping. But if we do, that's so long as we're pulling back, the threat generation should stack on the new tank. So the OT becomes empty, and then the OT drops the debuff. So long as the tank drops the debuff that's usually being applied for the swap, then there's usually a trigger. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the two tanks will coordinate and say, picking up aggro, you back off, they get it, you go off, you drop the debuff, you come back in, you count down, and then you resume the positioning. I would recommend dropping the stance. Got you. So dropping it should drop a lot of the threat. I agree. I kind of see that happening, but but it's because I hear like threat generation's easy. It's going to be easier with Shadowbringers. So I hear a lot of threat gen is going to be easier, but another thing I'm worried about is mitigating effects. Tank swapping is mostly extreme and savage, yeah. And I've noticed that. That's a lot where it all happens. Especially, like, it's all about the debuffs that's applied, or shield breakers. So I've noticed that. Like, when a shield breaker comes in, that's when you really should be paying attention to your tank swapping. Granted, this is why most tanks can't swap very well. See, I'm used to doing that. See, in Rift, I was a main tank. In World of Warcraft, I was up until Burning Crusades. So I was main tank in vanilla during MC, Nax, and AQ. So, and then Onyxia's Lair. So I was MT for all of those. So I had to be accustomed to tank swapping, and especially in Rift. Rift, I tanked a lot. And then I played support classes in Rift, but not in World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, I went from MT to heals to damage, and then back to tank. But it all switched with each class. So World of Warcraft had me juggling like a lot. So that's where I got a lot of my tanking experience in raiding, was probably World of Warcraft and Rift. But prior to that, I always played like DPS. You know, I always was a DPSer in most of my other games, like EverQuest and that. So, except Star Wars Galaxies, I played support, but we didn't have a lot of raids. But I had a support class for like PvP. So until I made Elder Jedi, and then I just walk around and screwed around with everything I could. But yeah. So I feel like that is a good thing. Like, tank swapping should be priority. Like, it should be coordinated between the two tanks, especially with the healers. Because if you get a tank buster, and I've noticed this is what I'm worried about with tanks, mitigating effects. So this is one thing I'm worried about. We're slightly losing the auto attack bonus from the other stances, like in this, like a Sword Oath. But we have quite a bit of like shareable mitigating effects or recovery. So anticipation, like, I'm not really banking on it as much on maybe my paladin as my warrior. Warrior's really nice with anticipation due to the dodge bonuses you're getting. But what I'm kind of wondering is, like, because Rampart here is a really nice damage reduction or mitigation ability. And you like, with my warrior, I'll actually stack on my heals or my pulls, stack a heal recovery and a mitigating effect, and then I have my self-sustaining heals if I lost out for a second to pull. And I really like that. So this is where I'm and I know chain pulling isn't going to be a big thing next expansion, where we're not going to get those, bonuses, those XP boosts as much. But when we take a look at 3 different effects, and then on top of it a debuffer, right? Because this is a mitigation. It's a debuff that helps with mitigation. It's only 5 seconds, but when it's a big attack and you know the mechanic, reprisal really comes in handy. Now, I don't feel like losing Provoke and Ultimatum is a big thing, given that we're getting a new threat effect with the stance. So we're like the threat generation is more prominent. So I don't feel like losing Provoke and Ultimatum is a big deal. I do want more interrupts. I hope that they increase tank interrupt mechanics more. I really like that as a tank. When I'm kept on my feet and I have to do interrupts and I have to know the mechanics to time things or be able to switch out and coordinate, I enjoy those gameplay mechanics a lot better. One of the things, though, I'm just a little apprehensive about mitigation effects, at low levels. warrior mitigation efficiency depends on the level, unfortunately. Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is where this is nice because you get some of those, lower effects. So if we're losing the shared abilities and they restructured the jobs, are we getting a little bit more mitigating effects up front? Because like we're losing protect in that, because protect's gone and there's no that 3% buffer's gone. It's out the window. So I'm hoping, because we're losing some of these abilities, some of these effects, that at least mitigation's been taken in consideration for lower level. When we play backwards. So when we scale back, I've noticed, like, sometimes it sucks when you're on a DPS class that doesn't have an AoE until they're in their 40s, or you don't have a debuff up until you hit a certain point. You don't have a self-sustain. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because there is class identity or job identity, but it really makes it kind of unfortunate that we don't have access to our abilities when we scale back like we do with the roles. The role abilities, we get these when they scale back, but class actions we don't. So I'm like, why can't we get, when we unlock an action, why can't we have access to that at backwards content and have this scaled back? Because that's what role does. Because you're a tank. Yeah. It's, yeah, I have some apprehensive elements, applied to it for sure. I'm a little worried, but at the same time, yeah, you're right. I mean, I guess it should be challenging, right? It should be. There should be an element of the challenge there. And prior to, what was it, Heaven's Ward, I mean, those role actions weren't there to begin with. That was applied later, from my understanding. I mean, and the funny thing is, I've been actually leveling tank a lot faster. Like, a lot faster. I have Warrior, Dark Knight. I love Dark Knight. Its effects, probably the best. The special effects for DK is amazing. I love Astrologian. It's my favorite healer so far. And I'm glad I leveled this Machinist. Machinist rotation stiff. For sure. So I'm glad. I can't wait to see how everything's been implemented for Machinist. And I'm glad Monk got the 4 stacks of Grace Lightning. I wish Black Mage would have gotten a little bit more, like when I was watching, the visuals, I'm like, okay. And I wanted some special effect to be amazing like they did with everything else. I mean, I know Black Mage is powerful, but I really was hoping, like, oh my god, give it to me. Now, this is where I kind of make sure I switch things up too. So I'm always taking a look at, like, what alliance side I'm on and, like, my role. So, like, usually if I'm pulling ads, I'll do shield, do my stance, and then I'd switch to shield oath. But I'm trying to get in the habit of not relying on sword oath, So, because we're not going to have it. It's gone. So I'm just dropping. I'm going to try to just drop off. So if I don't want to pull threat, but I'm at beside the tank, just in case, I just pick up and drop off the stance. I feel like that's probably the best option. Okay, now I know I'm not going to main tank, so what I'm going to do is just drop the shield. Let the main tank do his job. I'll stay beside him. Now, typically, like you say, I would pick up the shield Oath. Since we're not going to have it, I'm trying to get accustomed not to rely on shield dancing so much. I've been doing that with my warrior and my, you know. Okay, why isn't, you know what? Let me. Okay. I have them. Well, I couldn't roll need on them anyways, but. Grab a Skelly. This is going to hurt, right? One thing to keep in mind for mitigation is that parry and block do not stack. You either get a parry or a block, right? So, and that's why I don't feel like for, like Paladin, it's not like, I'm more dependent on block with the Paladin, right? Because of the way my other abilities are working in conjunction with my passives. So, like, Warrior is definitely a dodge. Like, very dodgy, you know, mechanic-wise. Where I feel like the Paladin is definitely more traditional sword and board, block mechanic, la la la. I like the Warrior. It reminds me of everything about World of Warcraft. Now, I'm just going to stay in here, let those guys deal that stuff. I'm going to drag back. Just going to keep enough where I can keep the dude kited. I'll turn this dude. That's how I play those positions. Okay. We're over here. Actually, I am going to put on my shield. Because I'll need to pull the ads. He got it. Ding, baby. Parry only affects physicals. Blocks affects everything magical or physical. Parry only affects physical. Which is why parry on a DK was so confusing for Heaven's Ward. It's a magical tank that, yeah. Actually, I kind of see your point with that. Against magic damage, yeah. No, it makes sense. Yep. Yeah, that is confusing. But like the Paladin here, like I like the block system on the Pally. Like I like all the mitigation system on the Paladin, but I like the Warrior, you know, like combos better. Man, it's going to be different to adjust the Warrior. I think Paladin's going to have the best elements, like from a tank that we're familiar with. Like DK looks so completely different to me. Like DK looks so different. I don't even know how to take like what's going to happen to DK. Because they're now saying it's a one combo ability. Okay, I'm going to drop my shield. I think Paladin's got some of the better adjustments coming out for familiarity reasons. But they get that nice gap closer. What? But at level 72? I'm like, ugh. Actually, I do need to stay in this because I've got to get the ad. Alright. And I gotta typically have my own little rock, I think. Come here, bitch. Okay. Take him out. Turn him around. Schlickums! 'Cause I'm bad, you know. No. Or it only loses its bonus HP and healing from GCDs, which isn't as significant as a difference. So do you think, like, I've been wondering how meta is going to apply. I keep trying to, like, think, like, we're going to see a whole other element to the meta. And that's what I honestly think is going to really... Oh, wrong side. Oh, wrong side. Oh, I know. I got to get over here. I know. Like, I see Dancer completely getting, like, up, like, I see AST still being, I mean, I know they changed the mechanics to AST, and I get that. But I think AST is going to be still part of that meta. I still see, like, you know, Black Mage, you know, some of the same elements, Bard. But I think, like, one of the things I'm worried about the most, and I'm going to have to say this, is the friggin' Dragoon. That's the only one I'm worried about. Now, is, like, for example, oh, hold on. Oh my god, really? Why? Somebody actually... Can't... What? Oh my god. DPS will probably be Dancer and Ninja. Yeah, I could see that. If Bard still has support, it'll be there too, for sure. Initially, meta will be who has mitigation and more move. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Bard, I feel like Bard will still have its support. Add that with the Dancer, and then the other DPS, you add that with Sam, and then Black Mage. Holy shit, right? But, like, will Monk climb the charts now with the extra Grease Lightning? Will Monk be able to keep up, you know, for the selfish DPS? And what about Machinist now? How's that going to look? You know, is it gonna can we anticipate like spots being taken? And this is the thing is like I know a lot of people don't like to talk about meta and they want to talk about what's fun, and I agree. I mean the content's doable. Hey, but we know there's going to be something that pops from this. We know the support classes that are prominent are going to get their spots. We know the healers that have the buffing capability are going to get their role. Oh shit, I forgot to break and now I got aggro. My fault, dude. My fault. I didn't mean to take your thunder, dude. Seriously. I'm going! Dude's like, you're not taking my thunder. We'll find out. Whatever way it turns, we'll know. It's following me. It's like, this motherfucker right here. Look at that timing. Oh my god! Yeah, screw you, dude. Run! Grab me! Grab me! Thank you, healer, for not grabbing me. What the heck is that person doing?
Yeah, baby.
No, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean to become the MT, but whatever. Player accommodation, going to the Bard, support, support, support. Show the love. If Monk retains its raid support, Monk will be better than Sam for speed runs. Yeah. See, that's what I'm wondering. I'm thinking that extra fourth stack, and if it, depending on what's being maintained, what's retained, and that extra, and how the stacks, because Monk's DPS is good if it can sustain its stacks. The problem with Monk is when the stacks drop off. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so Monk gets a fourth stack, right? It gets an ability to help, sustain the stacks. And if it has any support capability, even in the slightest, I think you're right. I think that it would be really good. Like, it's going to be, like, I think it's going to have that effect where everything is going to be about support, application. And that's what dictates meta, right? I mean, let's be real. How fast you can cycle uptime, right? That's what dictates meta. It's not necessarily like every jobs that can and can't do it. It's about uptime. And the more the jobs that pair well together, that have the more frequent uptime for each team, is going to dictate meta. And that's the thing. It's more, did they lose Brotherhood? I don't know. See, that was the thing. Somebody said that there were adjustments. They ended up giving giving them earlier access to some of the abilities, getting the extra fourth stack, and then getting an ability to a better ability to sustain, or maybe adjusting that ability. But I didn't hear anything about the support applications for Monk. And I was like, if they can sustain their their stacks better, they could be a force to be reckoned with. Like, because when they get going, they're good DPS, but it's the drop-off points that struggle for Monk. And that's why I'm worried about Dragoon. Dragoon has the longest tier combo, or the longest, its rotation is the most lengthiest to set up for Dragoon. And Dragoon was good up until this point, because now we have Dancer coming in, right? And you have X amount of spots that you want selfish DPS. So because Dancer's coming in, and if, depending on Bard's positioning, if Bard and Ninja are sustained with their group capability and Dancer's introduced, I'm worried Dragoon is going to take the back seat. If Monk loses Brotherhood in Mantra, Monk will be on about the same level as Sam. Right, because Sam loses currently due to not having raid support. Right, it's so selfish. Like, the problem of it is, it's like a really, like, I love Sam. Sam's my favorite job to play, but it's so selfish, it sucks. Like, a lot of hard hitting, but it brings nothing to the table. And I agree with you. Like, when we're talking about, it's all about synergy for meta. Right? These are determining factors. It's like White Mage. No one can argue that the White Mage is the powerhouse healer. We see that in PvP. Like, White Mage is a very dominant healer, but when it comes to support application, it's lackluster. Dragoon still has eyes, even if it, I believe, lost its crit bonus. That's what I'm worried about. This is what I'm worried about with Dragoon. That's what I'm worried about. Think it's the first DNC gives 30%. Right. It, like, well, I'm not up there yet. But eyes give 15%, right. And Dancer's 30, right. But it's the dance partner. So there's an ability with it, you get a 30% boost, and then you have the dance partner. So with Dancer. And that's what I'm worried about. Like, this is what I'm all worried about, because Dancers sounds like you're reaching selfish levels of damage there. Right. This is what I'm just saying, like, we get everything up. Now, they did say, like, at least they took heavy thrust out, so it makes chaining or stringing a lot easier, and I think weaving is going to be a lot easier to pull off with the Dragoon for its, like, combos, but it still has one of the lengthiest rotations to set up, and especially if once you get everything out and you're trying to get your disembowel and you got your timer down, you know, for your dot application, you know, to get your disembowel and the chaos thrust up. And then you string up, right? But I'm worried, man, because Dancer, I think, is right. So you boost the Dragoon. Right. So, like, is it going to stack, though? Because if it doesn't stack, don't you think the Dragoon's going to fall through? Because that's my question. That's what I'm worried about. Because we know certain buffs don't stack. So if they don't stack, like, Dragoon could find itself in a bad situation. Like, I mean, as far as meta, and like in group configuration and pugging, Dragoon will be fine. Like, I don't see Dragoon being like to the point where it's not playable, but Dancer's going to be so prominent. Like, what slots are we going to see filled? I don't know. I think Drag's been easy since HW, but I'm a filthy double weaver policy, and this is my thing. Is like, okay, if you can coordinate the downtime, like, then Dragoon has an appeal to it to, like, offset downtime. But if it doesn't have it, yeah. And if it has an appeal to it, it's always stacks. Oh, so it's going to stack. So if it stacks, we're good. Different buffs stack. But as long as even if they're the same effect, right? That's the only thing I was worried about, was the critical application. Because I was like, so I just was like, okay, so 2 crit buffs would stack. We don't see only 1 crit buff and then a drop off, because it's a similar in application. That's the only thing I was worried about. I'm like, I hate when that happens. And I do wish they would have added Dragoon Ninja. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So that's the only thing I was worried about was like stacked effects, and then on top of it, there was something else. Like I was like, okay, because it's all about uptime and critical buffs. Scholar and AST, I totally agree. I don't think White Mage is going to be enough. White Mage, it's got good heals, but it brings nothing to the table. They don't bring anything unique to the table. What? You gave it a mitigating effect? Warrior won't stack, though. Got you. So, we could probably anticipate what? Like Dark, DK, and Gun? It's 100% rate. Yeah, I could see that. Like, I think Warrior is... I think the tanks are in a better positioning than DPS and support class jobs. Support jobs. I worry about, like, just, like, how is the makeup going to go? How are people going to configure the teams? And when we're talking about Extreme and we're talking about Slayer, it's going to come down to uptime. It's always going to be about uptime. And I wish they would have added buffs, unique buffs, to like maybe skill speed, spell speed, because that's the one thing I was a little worried about AST. AST had some of those effects on cooldowns. And now they changed that whole card system up. And now we're taking a look at like determination. I would have liked to see a buff that applied determination into direct hit. Honestly, the healer changes aren't very good because they didn't address the actual problem. Right, they said they wanted to balance it. That's why we didn't get a healing job. And, White Mage doesn't provide anything raid. That's what I'm saying. Like, it has no buff. And that's what I completely concur. Like, no one's arguing the White Mage's capability of healing, right? It heals damn good. But it brings nothing to the table for the players who are wanting to, like, do what? The group functionality. That's what I was worried about. I'm like, it needs it. Depends who has the highest damage for tanks. Yeah, but they said that they've been trying to adjust it. But I imagine somebody will figure it out. I know Mr. Happy was talking about a gun skill speed tank, which I found interesting. Because I'm like, well, yeah, I guess. Because, depending off how everything comes off the GCD, that would make sense to increase the DPS and also the uptime of your, mitigation and your shielding system. So I was like, I could see that. It'll be interesting to see who puts what together. But like, I go full tank. Like, I'm not a tank. I'm worried more about mitigation and my tanking role. Like, I'm used to taking, like, as a tank, like, when I raided in World of Warcraft and Rift and EverQuest, if I've ever tanked, I've always done one or two things. Mitigation. The highest, the more mitigation, the higher my mitigating abilities, the less healers had to keep me, top me off. And that's what I built for as a main tank for so many years. I'm always like, look, OT, DPS. MT, I'm MT. I don't give a shit about my DPS. I give a shit about my overall mitigating effects and how much mitigation, because it's percentage value. And percentage value, the more I can mitigate, the less the healer has to heal me. And that means what? Doing other effects to the team. Whether that's buffing, whether that's, pulling, that's whatever the healer, as long as I can sustain the healer's resource management and effects, the less, the better. And I know every game is different, but I've always built a tank as a tank. Like, I was in ESO, and these tanks were squish balls when I first started. Like, they were blowovers. Like, I could, like, breathe on them, and they'd just fall the fuck over. And then me and my dudes, we would run streams with our tanks running 50 to 60,000, and these guys have like 25,000 tanks. And all of a sudden, we go in, and you couldn't even, the boss couldn't even dent us. Yeah, Final Fantasy, it's kind of odd. Yeah. Well, it's still percentage base. There's still a lot of mitigation that's percentage base. though. So that rule always stays standard. Like anything that has a percentage based on mitigating effects, as long as it has a percentage mitigating effects, the rule applies. The ideal build for tanks is that you mitigate enough to survive because the tools are so strong. Well, that's what I'm saying, though. We're getting changes. And that's what they're saying. I think they're trying to make it where we're getting busy work. Like, it's just busy work. It's not like like Yoshida said in the last producer letter that they're reducing tank damage. That and tenacity sucks so bad. Yeah. Tenacity is kind of a finicky stat. I will say that. I'm a little kind of, whatever about it. But the abilities is what I'm always after. Mitigating effects on abilities. I'm always, on this. Because reduced damage taken by 20%. And usually when you see a 20% reduction, it's usually scaled off what? What's your scale effect? How do you reduce? What's the damage applied? It has to be applied to what? Your resistance, your health. Each game's different, but it's a percentage-based configuration that has to scale from something. So this is everything I'm always pushing for. And once again, increase block rate by 60%. You can stack block rate up to a certain percentage. So block rate stacks. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we know we can stack certain effects. And that's why, like, when I came in here, everybody's like, you don't macro as a tank. And I'm like, you don't macro as a tank. I've been macroing since the beginning of MMOs. I macroed when I wasn't supposed to macro MMOs. And I'll tell you, I will always macro because I'm OCD about control. Like, my abilities and my control has to be, like, I'm OCD. So I like to manage abilities to the T. And I'm always telling people, you might not macro as a tank. That's fine. Just leave me the fuck alone. Let me do me. I've taken some of the hardest games in existence in MMOs. And I'm like, you can't get on my level with macro system. Like macro system, I'm so good. You get 5%. You got like 5%. People were super excited at first about tenacity, and then it came out that that was finicky. So until Shadowbringers for Busters, it's even better. Nice. Yeah, so I like, that's the couple of the things like I'm always going to be looking at, and I think I'm definitely going to be diving into with Shadowbringers, the adjustments, and especially percentage. Like tenacity, I agree with you. Like, I'll put in there, but like tanking, the tank and healers deal the least amount of damage in comparison to DPS. But the question of it is how the tanks apply the damage becomes questionable, right? Because of the stats and their effects. Like, is one of their abilities like a builder application? Does it have a two course? Like, not only does it actually deal damage, do we get another effect from it? Each is different. I'm just throwing it out for whatever. But defenses, I keep steady. I always keep my defenses pretty steady. I never try to offset those. I'm always looking at other effects. Like, do I have healing abilities? Is it worth putting in any stat like that? Not really, because maybe I only have one. My healing received. What's the scaling effect from that? What's the scaling effect from this? What's the scaling effect from that? A lot of times what I find a lot of problems with, like, Elder Scroll players didn't understand like shielding system, and that's something I had to go over with them. Like, they were kind of like really backwards about shielding system and how it scaled. But a lot of times people want to focus on the main attributes instead of the primary attributes that applies to the role. And that's everything that I'm looking at in what I'm trying to accomplish. As an OT, I might not need to worry about mitigation so much because my swap is intermittent. So I definitely want to push in more DPS because I'm only going to pick up ads or something or trash. But as an MT, I always scale for mitigation. That's just something I'm traditionally accustomed to. I like complete control. I do not like hitting a panic button. I don't like healers. Like if my healer, I'll tell you what. This game's crazy. Healers are about half a DPS, assuming everything is equal. While for Paladin, your healing ability scales off your Vite and Strength, if I remember correctly. Nice. So I'm OCD about tanks and healers and everything. It makes no sense. Yeah, especially if it's off of Strength. That makes no sense. That doesn't. That doesn't make sense. Well, unless the ability, costs Strength and it's scaled percentage-wise, but yeah, like healers, like when I see healers in this game, like if they were in my vet runs, I would flog them. I would flog their asses. Like our healers don't DPS in any game I've ever done. Like not at all. Like ever. Never. Like if my healer got caught throwing a dot, he'd get benched. On a weak run, he'd get benched. You can't afford not to have your MPs because you burn. Like there's phases in other games you burn out. And that's common in this game. Not so much that I've noticed so far, but you don't take that risk as a healer in other games. You don't compromise your position, your role to DPS. Like, it makes it faster. No, they're the lowest DPS on the totem pole. If we pull up a parse, they're the lowest. They are not a contributing factor. The contributing factor is DPS to sustain. If we lose a DPS, we've lost more DPS with one of our deeps dropping than one of our healers DPSing. Your cast rotation too is based off strength Vite, by the way. Oh, is it? Oh, got you. What about skill? But you'll see that more at level 70. Yeah. I'm still leveling this job. And that's what I'm trying to get done with Shadowbringers. I'm trying to level up all the jobs. Well, it's not all of them, but as much as I can. So, Paladin, I should have the 70 before launch. White Mage, I should have. Just to have it. I don't see myself utilizing it. Dragoon, I want to 70, and I want to get Ninja up to 70. Everything else is kind of set. So, where I feel comfortable. That applies only for Extreme and Savage, for the most part for healing. Got you. Yeah. Like, I don't know how anybody does it. Like, and I mean, normal, I guess, you're right. It's normal. Or slightly hard mode, whatever, right? But I've been in some dungeon runs where the healer lets the tanks drop down to some part where they're dead. My dude, he was tanking. We're in a dungeon, and the healer's like, "Oops, I forgot to throw the heal," and he died. We kicked him, poof, out the door. And we warn every healer, you can DPS. Like if I'm with my dude or my dudes, we're like, you can DPS if we're running a 3-man. We're like, you can DPS. Don't get caught getting our tank killed. If our tank drops, you drop. You get kicked. So don't do it, And that's a bad habit. That's what we're trying to say. Like me and my dudes, we're trying to tell them, you've learned bad habits. You've learned very bad habits. And that's something that you shouldn't be doing if it compromises your team. And that's the only thing we don't want to see in an MMO. We don't care if people DPS. We don't care. We don't give a shit. We don't care if tanks want to DPS a little bit more. We don't care. But the thing about it is, it's about functionality. And that's what we're about. Me and my dude and my other dude, we're about functionality and getting content done smooth. Not having to, it's all about mechanics. At the end of the day, we should worry about mechanics, not people's roles. Like a DPS, I hate to say it, if my DPS can't cut the mustard without my healer or my tanks, I'd boot their asses anyways. I would boot their asses anyways. I'm a former elitist. I'd DPS check them before they walked in the past. I'd be like, you have to pull X amount of DPS within this much seconds. Go. I would do it. So if my DPS can't cut the mustard, why do I want my DPS crutching on my healer or crutching on my tank? Why? That's not acceptable to me. That's not kosher. I'm not kosher with it. I'm not cool with that. Like my tank's my tank, my healer's my healer. Like if you can't cut the mustard DPS, you got problems. We got problems. You know, like that's the thing. My healers are not expendable. DPS is expendable. The healers are not expendable. Like healers aren't. Tanks aren't expendable. Those are rare commodities in your MMOs. And you want to make sure they're not spoiled. You want to groom them the right way at all times. You want to groom your healers right. You want to groom your tanks right. You want to be able to make sure that they're keeping a position at all times. Like I'm a main tank. I've main tanked multiple games. So I know how to main tank. And I know how to heal. I'm not the best healer, but I know how to heal. And I'll tell you what, if one of these healers walked into like Rift right now, they'd get booted. If they walked into Elder Scrolls and like raids, they'd get booted. If they got, you don't DPS. You don't push past your position. You just don't. And this game has gotten, I think it's been a little weird. It's a little weird. And I'll be honest, I'm a little hesitant. I'm hesitant. I'm very hesitant. I'm glad for the changes. I'm hoping and I'm praying and I'm praying and I'm praying that these adjustments are all in the right direction. If you want a sort of meta answer with regards to the community, I don't know. Like, I don't know how it got like this. That's what I told somebody. I'm like, how did you guys get to this point? Like, how? How did you break almost 20-something years of tradition? Most players in general aren't able to participate in Extreme or Savage without being carried by their eye levels. Got you. Right. That makes sense. That does. Right. So they're not used to progression where it matters. And I understand that. I get it. I do. And that's the thing. Like, I get where you have to dig it up a little bit, but like, seriously, I wouldn't have crutching like that. No fucking way. No goddamn way would I have crutching like that. If somebody in my group yelled at a healer for not DPSing enough, I would ban that person left and right and be like, you're done. You're teaching my healer bad habits. Like, I don't want you spoiling my healer. I don't want you touching my healer and fucking him up. I'm not against DPSing. Just don't yell at them for not DPSing enough. Good players will rarely, if ever, be touched by mechanics and job changes. Nice. That's a good thing, though, at times. But yeah. Two, a lot of these changes have been made with majority of players in mind. Yeah, this is true. Like, you know, where it accommodates the masses instead of the progression. Right. Right. Like Flavor of, right? We used to get that in World of Warcraft, Flavor of the Month, where everything your whole world changes, your whole setup changes because of that, you know, accommodating factors. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like Scholar. Like, if I'm on a Scholar, I feel comfortable on a Scholar. Keep in mind, for Savage, healer damage means that you can afford 1 to DPS stats. No, see, that's not what I would want. So if my DPS dropped, I'd kick my healer. So if a DPS dies to mechanics, like I died in mechanics on my raids, that's not the healer's fault. That's my fault. That is completely my fault. I was to blame for that. But if I died to a lack of healing and my DPS dropped, that healer can't DPS enough to make it up in comparison. I mean, enough to get him up, yeah, but not enough. So it's not acceptable. Like, if my DPS drops to a lack of a heal, that healer's replaced. That healer's gone forever. Like in my progression groups, if a healer made that mistake, it probably meant their career in raid progression with my guilds. Like, you don't do that. You don't fuck up. You don't let somebody die because you're DPSing. You don't. Your DPS, you can't pull enough DPS to justify a DPS dying. Healers do the least amount in any game I've ever seen, including this one. They deal the least amount of damage. So most DPS deaths are to mechanics. Right, I agree with you. Like, I died to mechanics. But I don't want, like, one healer being dead. Right. I've seen healers in this game, though. This is the problem. And this is my only problem. I don't mind a healer DPSing. I have no problem with that. I don't want DPS dying because they're not getting heals. And that's what's happening in this game. It's like, why is DPS dropping after they just res? Like, I'd res and I'd die to a mechanic that I couldn't control because I didn't get a heal. I had to heal myself as a red mage. And it's like, why? Why is that occurring? Why is this happening? And I scratch my head and I see it over and over. It's a repeat. It's like bad habits. There are a lot of bad habits in this game. And that's why I'm kind of questionable. I'm like, who taught these people this? Who taught them to DPS over healing? Because they're not doing their job. They're not playing their role. They're literally like res DPS. Well, yeah, there's a disparity between the high and casual ends. Yeah, but that's my thing. Like, I don't want to be like, I'm trying to play like to a casual point, but at some point I'm going to want to progress. I'm going to be that person who's going to be in progression. I'll find my way. But I don't want to be a part of a guild or a company that is, in my opinion, trash. It's like, I don't want that, especially if I'm going to be tanking or playing a support role. Even if I was a healer. Like, Scholar I like, because Scholar I can squeeze in my rotation. I can shield up, squeeze in the rotation, and top off. White Mage isn't that accessible, because White Mage has a cast timer with, stone. So, it's like, everybody casts stone. And it's like, stop that. That's the longest cast time of damage that you're doing. If there's a shield breaker, your tank could get fucked. And it's like, oh, I can handle it. And then next thing you know, the tank dies. And we're like, why? We just told you to stop that. We asked you to stop. Why did you do that? And they're like, well, we told you there's shield break. Once a shield break, you're casting the longest cast time. Throw your arrow and let it go. If you can squeeze in after you top off, that's fine. But Scholars have an easier time to apply because that's all dot based and ground based. Except it's changing now. There's a lot of changes with Scholar. But Scholar has a nice rotation to apply damage versus White Mage. And I would have to say that AST kind of fits in between. Like, it has a nice AoE effect. It has a nice dot. It has a nice direct. But that direct's almost comparable to Stone. And it's like, I don't want to see a cast, like a long cast time if a shield break was to drop. It was like, if a shield breaker drops, that healer should be on top of it for the recovery. Because, yeah, the tank's going to mitigate, throw his mitigating effect, and he should be prepared for that. He should be prepared for a mitigating effect after a shield breaker. But if the healer's got to top him off right away. Because if another mechanic comes in, even with the reduction, it could kill him. It could wipe it. And then that other off tank has to do pickup. Well, now you got a problem because now you're in recovery mode. And I just see a lot of bad habits, man. I just see so many bad habits. And I'm just thinking to myself, why? Who taught you guys this shit? Like, what are you doing? Are you pulling like what, 2? 3K a second as a healer, 2 to 3K. Like, what's your DPS? 3 or 4 times the amount? What? Who's teaching you this? Like, who? I don't get it. I don't understand it. In 22 years and over 30 MMOs, I don't get this mentality. That's because a white mage should probably be using Tetra. Nice. Yeah, nice. Absolutely. You are the... Oh, man, I love you. I love you. Oh, I love you, Baka. Oh, you're going to become my best friend. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's an instant heal. Takes it up all the way. Right. Absolutely. But that's the thing, too, because, like... Stone is like, what, 2 point something? If there's 2 mechanics, though, it usually means there's supposed to be a swap. Yeah, good point. That is a good point. Like I said, I don't mind DPSing. So I'm not saying I don't want healers to DPS. I want practical application. If you're talking about 4-mans, I'm talking about like 8-mans and 6 are raids. Healers do like 7K, do they? What's the standard? What's the top end DPS doing? 21. It's kind of absurd. 7K a second is pretty good though. That's actually a lot higher than I anticipated. 7K a second? Shit. It's a lot. It's a lot more than I anticipated. I haven't downloaded the parser. I'm scared to download the parser because it's frowned upon. It's like your account could get banned. I've wanted to download the parser multiple times. And I'm like, because I'm used to like having stuff like that. But, you know, and from my understanding, it's a parser, not a metrics. I understand, from my understanding, you can see everybody's DPS. So, from my understanding, it's a full parse. But I haven't downloaded it. But 7K DPS a second, that's nice. Ooh, that's good. It's actually good for a healer. That's actually good for a healer. But what's the DPS doing? The DPS should be triple that. For 4-man, it's like 6K. You know what the DPS is? Like, Black Mage has got to be pushing like, what? Like, what? At least 16, 18? It's got to be. If not higher. It's because healers have the best AoEs. Over Summoner? I thought Summoner would have the best AoE. Black Mage, Ninja, etc. have AoEs. Good AoEs. Yeah, but what about Summoner? I thought Summoner, the AoEs look pretty good. Because you got Bane. You can really spread those dots. And like half their abilities are AoEs. Summoner looks really good. Like, I love everything I've seen from Summoner, all videos for Summoner. I'm convinced, like, my MSQ is Summoner all the way. Like, I'm totally convinced with Summoner for MSQ progression. As far as raid progression, though, we'll see about that one. Yeah. But given the fact that we have Bahamut, I think the Bahamut rotation is going to be a lot faster. But how it enkindles, I don't know if I don't like that. But most classes don't have that great AoEs compared to the healers. Yeah. Well, that's true. But AoEs, that's kind of thing. Like Samurai, I love Samurai AoE. I love Samurai. Samurai AoE is probably... I like Summoner and I like Samurai for AoEs. But Dragoon, I hate Dragoon. Because the lack of AoEs. Like, I wish Dragoon would have more AoEs. For Black Magic, you do. Got you. For Black Mage, you do. Summoner has to be in their phase, right? That's true. Right. I love Summoner, though. I like Summoner. Like, everything, once you get the rotation down, you spread, you get everything, and you pop in it, it just flows. Like, Summoner works. But it doesn't, it has this, like, because it's so dot heavy, it has the stagnant point where you can't like push it up any further. And I feel like the new Summoner is going to be really strong. Blizz 3, AoE Thunder, Blizz 4, Fire 3, Flare, Flare, Foul. What about the cap, the MP cap? Now, isn't MP cap going to affect the Black Mage rotation? That's another thing we've been debated about. For Summoner, you have to actually be in your phase or else you don't do as much right. It's stagnant. That's my problem with Summoner currently. And I feel like with the new, the way your charges work, I honestly think a Summoner in the instant cast, I'm thinking pets will have a rotation. Like pet calls will have, like somebody's going to come up with a pet rotation. And I'll be investigating it for sure. But, yeah. You know, that's the only thing, like, I agree. It's stagnant. It's like, if you're not in phase, your DPS is kind of like, meh. But then all of a sudden, everything's procced up. Everything fires. Boom, 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 boom. So, and then getting Fester procs to do that. As an example, Scholar's Miasma 2 has tried Disaster, if I remember. Not really, no. So you don't think the Black Mage rotation is going to change? I hope the Black Mage doesn't, like, because of the cap. That's another thing I was a little worried about, was the MP cap. I was like, okay, so MP cap. And they're like, well, Piety is going to affect regen. But the Piety's, you know, a healer stat. And I'm like, okay, well, great. What about the Black Mage? I'm not worried about it on Red Mage as much. But Black Mage recovery is pretty stressful as it is, given the fact that they have to use abilities to regen. There is one already if you're a good tier summoner. Oh, really? I'm really looking forward to it. Like, I like my summoner. I leveled up my summoner, and I really like my summoner. I think it's going to be a good, like, quest job. I don't know if it'll, like, I don't know if it'll hit a meta. Like, from my understanding, like, that's some of the things about with the summoner is that threshold. Like, Bahamut rotation, it's pretty lengthy, you know. But I honestly think this is going to be a good job for like questing. Like MSQ, all this stuff. I like Summoner. I like where Summoner is going to be at for that purpose. Black Mage recovery MPVs. Yeah. But what I'm saying, will everybody be able to get a full rotation out before they have to recover with the MP stack? That's the only thing I'm worried about. Is the rotation going to have to change because of the MP stack? That's the only thing I was thinking of. I was like, somebody had mentioned something. Someone's like, I might have to lose a step depending on the cost. And I'm like, because I don't play Black Mage yet. For Summoner, the level of micromanagement necessary in order to take advantage of that, it's like 2% super gain is super high. Got you. Most will say it isn't worth it. Like, it isn't? Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of pros going in. It'll be interesting. I'm really excited to see all this. Like, what's going to be good? Like, what is? I think everything will have its application. But when we're talking about configuring, and like I said, meta, the meta hype's going to be real. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Somebody had said something about that, but I wasn't sure. Because I don't play Black Mage. And when I read it, I was like, so a phase is going to have to, they're like, unless they adjusted the cost. All that adjusts is how many fires you can cast in a row. Yeah. Someone said they're going to lose one phase of that because of the MP cap before recovering. So I don't know how dramatic that is. I don't play Black Mage yet. And I was like, and they were kind of a little about it. I was like, yeah, I wish they would, like, they should, to my opinion, I wish they wouldn't have capped MP. Like, you know, they could, it's like soft cap, yeah, but not hard cap it. Like certain jobs, like machinist and all them, they're not going to need like a 10,500 MP cap. But, like casters, that kind of sucks, man. You're looking at a 2% gain over the entire fight, assuming absolute 0 mistakes, which is why that level of isn't worth it for a summoner. Got you. Well, and that's the thing. Like, currently, I can see where the summoner has those problems. That's why I'm agreeing. Because, yeah, it has that, like, threshold problem. Because of its, everything has to be up. But, at the same time, like, how good could it be with the changes? Like, is it going to be viable? Like, how viable can it be towards the end game? Like, I like the AoEs. I like the solo play of the summoner. Summoner to me has a lot of flexibility to it. Like, if you want to do a 4-man, yeah, summoner can be good for that. If you want to do solo play, summoner is definitely a very flexible job because you have all these pets at your disposal. But when it comes to like things like raids and stuff, you don't see a lot of summoners. You don't see a lot of summoners in trials and raids, and a lot of people play other jobs. They'll play their scholar before they'll play their summoner. So that's why I'm kind of wondering, like, are these new things going to happen? Like, I see summoners very rare in pug raids even. I just don't see them a lot. I don't. I see scholars all the time for obvious reasons. I see ASTs everywhere. Hello? Oh, dude, did I just get a new little thing? Dude, that was weird. But, yeah. It's going to be interesting. I'm hyped. And thank you for stopping in. You answered so many questions for me. We had really good conversation. Baka, I love you. Thank you for stopping in and just giving me so much to think about and everything. Because these are the conversations I need. Like, these are the conversations that has to give me thought and to reflect and say, okay, yeah, but what if? And that's what I like. Honestly, Baka, you have no idea. Like, there are some people who give me that ability to conversate, and then there's other people who just, For raids, people will usually swap to Red Mage because it's easier to manage than Summoner. I like Red Mage for raids. I agree. It has a nice amount of support, decent DPS. It's not up there like with some of the top, but it has the support. It has the mobility. It's very flexible. And especially on rotation, where a lot of times you can't screw up rotation in certain scenarios. Red Mage has a little bit of a give and take to it, where, oh shit, I just fucked up my rotation. Where's my bar at? Where's my rotation? Let me start again, at least to get the proc up, and then I'll hit the, get my white in. And I like that about the Red Mage. I really do, because I can res, I can throw support, I can debuff, I can sustain myself, if need be. So, and it's got a good amount of damage. And I feel comfortable with it. But I've also done Sam, and I love Sam. I just hate being put in some of those holes, man. Melee DPS in this game is brutal. Like, some of the melee mechanics, so brutal, man. So brutal. You have to be on top of, like, movement all the time as melee. Varese is super important because most pug DPS are kind of bad. Yeah, no, I've definitely been... Yeah, I've noticed. Yeah. And Varese, I like it. I mean, I do. And I don't mind. And I tell people, I don't mind, doing what I need to do. If that's, Summoner has a raids too. But, yeah, like you said, I don't see Summoners in raids a lot. I mean, once in a blue moon. But I'm hoping we'll see something. I don't know until it's launched. Till it launches, I won't know. Although, because it's also the end of the expansion, healers and tanks are questionable as well right now. That's the only thing I'm worried about. I feel tanks are going to be in a nice adjustable spot, but like you said, a meta will be dictated on tanks, probably based on DPS, or, support abilities, one of the two. I mean, that's the nice thing about the Paladin. Paladin doesn't have the top end DPS, but its support capabilities is pretty good for a tank. It has a nice amount of group support. But the question of it is, do you need that support within that raid? Because if you don't, you're not going to bring him. I had to deal with tanks who kept not using mitigation for tank busters. Oh, shit. And then I had to yell at it for it. Oh, no. They didn't use a mitigation for a tank buster? Oh, boy. Oh, ouch. That hurts. That would suck. I like tanking in this game. I like it. I just wish I had more interruptible things to do. That's the only thing I would like. Out of like all the eye candy and nice little like foot moving elements, I'd probably say that this is like probably the second highest game I would like to tank. I like tanking in this game. I don't mind it at all. I love it actually. I mained a tank when I first started, and I loved every minute of it. Loved it. DK is a very interesting tank to adjust to, though. So I tell people, man, if you're going from one tank to that tank, it's a whole different world. But I like the DK. DK keeps you on your toes, too. How the way it is now, but how it's going to adjust, I'm a little leery, but I love the special effects. Yeah, it wasn't pleasant. Hell no. Hell no. I would be pissed if I was you, too. Have you seen 120k hit zero? No. Oh, I'd be so pissed. If I was the healer, I would be mad as fuck. And that's up to the tank. The tank has to do countdowns. And that's what I'm always looking at. Like sometimes I'll proc when one's about to fall off. And because I know like, okay, here's phase and here's this. And I'm trying to rotate my effects, or I'm stacking two effects intentionally. They removed a lot of interrupts because priority on interrupts just to be on DPS. That sucks though. Tank interrupts are so cool, which required you to bring specific classes. Yeah, I really like going in some of the ARR early dungeons and where I can interrupt and I'm like, oh, I love it because yeah, I agree that there should be a cooldown and you shouldn't be able to hit every one of them. But it's nice when DPS don't have to make the adjustment and everything can keep going. Because SC keeps moving towards universality in party builds over specific combinations. Yeah, well, at least they haven't homogenized things. Well, and I guess there's always a similar effect, but it hasn't been completely homogenized. So, and that's why, like somebody who said they want to see Geomancer or Chemist come out next. And honestly, I don't know. I mean, I'm having fun the fact that I don't have to re-roll a new alt to do all these jobs. Like, I love that. I never had to make an alt again. It's like amazing. It's like sweet. Excellent. That is amazing. And so long as there's something unique to each job, that's all I'm asking for too. Like I used to build in Elder Scrolls. Like I used to do like anything I could think of and I could do it. I could pull it off. I'd do it. I'm like, you gave me a game where I can do, you're giving me all of this with these classes. You guys just done fucked up. Because like I've been doing this a long time. Like I'm screwing this game up. And I would make some of the cancerous builds in that game. People would hate me for it. But it's like, I could do it. They allowed me to do it. And then, you know, I like a game where I have progression, but I'm not like pigeonholed into one thing that it has to be this way or nothing. And that's why I got rid of WoW. Like I walked away from WoW and I walked away from Rift. Rift was about balance problems. But World of Warcraft, I got tired of switching so much. It's like this expansion, I have to be this job in this or this class. because the meta dictated so much that I couldn't play the class I leveled. I couldn't. So I spent an entire expansion building up to a certain point to basically to bench my character, to bench him altogether, and I hated it. And now I have to build a new one all over again. Why? Because the meta's now changed. And in Final Fantasy, there's a nice, comfortable aspect to that you can do that without having to start all over. Because in World of Warcraft, you did start all over. In Rift, you did start all over. In EverQuest, you did start all over. But in this game, okay, let me go ahead and level this job. I don't at least have to start the MSQ all over. I don't have to go get this all over. I have that in my bag. And that's what I like. So, to me, adaptation in this game is perfect. I love the adaptation. So, it doesn't bother me if I'm going to have to do anything. Like, if I have to switch from, like, warrior tank to DK tank. Okay. No problem. You know? I have it, you know? Okay, cool deal. Excellent. And I like that a lot. So, anyways, I'm going to let you go, Baka. Baka, please stop in sometime in the future. You have been a blessing to me in so many ways today. Thank you for the heads up. Thank you for the advice. Thank you for the insight. Thank you. You have been probably a person I can at least look forward to telling me. And, I'm not a prideful person. I'm an asshole, but I'm not prideful. So anything that you can help me with, I will definitely appreciate it. Yeah, it's one of the benefits of playing this game. Love it. Love it. Definitely, every day. All right, I'm out. Thank you, Baka, for stopping in. Once again, everybody, thank you, Scott. I hope you're enjoying your vacation. Thank you, Chrissy. Hope you're doing well, and I hope they fixed your boiler today. I'm going to miss the levels of complexity, though. Yeah. Granted, I said this during Heaven's Ward and SB as well, though. Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm having fun. I'm actually excited for Shadowbringers. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I felt like I came in at a good time. I'm glad I left Elder Scrolls Online. I'm glad. A lot of people weren't happy about that. But I'm so happy I did. I came to a game. I love the eye candy. I love a lot of people some people don't like turn-based games. But because of the off the GCD and the GCD, love it. I love it. There are a lot of complex elements to timing things in this game. So that's why I'm enjoying myself a little bit more every time. But once again, thank you so much. I'm Mystic Raven. This is Mystic's MMOs. As always, thank you. Have a nice day.